Hey loves, my name is Jessica and welcome to my channel. I'm filming in front of natural light, so if it gets funky or a little too dark, I don't want to drag all my lighting equipment out and everything when I have the puppy running about, even though she is just sleeping in the sun right now. Today's video, I'm talking all about the new Anastasia Beverly Hills palette Prism. First off, I love this design. So I'm going to kind of do what I did with Anastasia Modern Renaissance and compared it to Huda Beauty Rose Gold. But with Prism, I'm comparing it to Anastasia's Subculture. Because right when all of the photos were going around on the internet from Prism, I saw too many comments being like, oh my god, it's just like Subculture. Like the colors, and I know people are really curious about how the formulas compare, because unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the internet blew a shitstorm about Subculture. So that's what I'm going to do, so please keep on watching. Okay, disclaimer, even though I don't think I should have to say this, I'm gonna say it. If you watched my Anastasia Subculture review, you know that I like this palette. I like this palette a lot. I did not have problems with it like the big named YouTubers or other people did, and I've also recommended this palette to some of my friends and they haven't had a problem with it either. Let's talk about Prism first. So Prism is described as a luxe holiday eyeshadow collection with 14 shades featuring universal neutrals and prismatic metallics. The packaging, if anyone is wondering, it's the exact same as Modern Renaissance and Subculture with the felty, feel. I love this packaging so much, and I love that this is black and it's sleek. However, when you have a cat and a dog, and you live in the country of bumfuck nowhere, there's going to be a lot of dust, and this is just going to attract that dust and animal hair, so this is going to get dirty quite quickly. But points aside, I love the geometrical design that is going on here. Okay, let's just stop talking about the packaging of the palette, and here are the colors. 2 duochromes, 7 ultra mattes, and 5 metallics. I think I read that all correctly. In comparison to Subculture with the finishes, Subculture has 2 duochromes, 1 metallic, and the rest are ultra mattes. For Prism, I did use this on my eyes, and it was my first time using this palette since I just got it. On my eyes, I used Eden and Lure in the crease, and I added Parallel to the outer corner. I used Dimension all over the lid. I used Dimension wet because when I first did it dry in a brush, or actually with my finger, it didn't give me that bam metallic feeling I wanted from the shade, so I wetted it. And then underneath the eyes, I took Parallel and Osiris, put it under there, and I kind of brushed over Saturn with it, trying to make the lower lash line a little bit more warm so it has more connection with the crease. When I was playing with these, honestly, I do not see much of a difference in this palette, like compared to Modern Renaissance and compared to the Subculture that I have. In my Subculture review, I did a comparison with the Kick Up. It's kind of the same Kick Up as Modern Renaissance has, and my Natasha Denona blushes have, and several other eyeshadow palettes, and I felt like Prism was no different. Since I'm pretty sure everyone wants to know, I'm going to take a brush, and I'm going to pat it in once, and we'll see how much fallout there is, and I'll do the same with Subculture Modern Renaissance. I'm going to stick the brush in Eden, fairly tapped it, and you see just a little bit of Kick Up. But look how much pigment goes on my brush and how much of it goes in the air. Start with the tissue. For Subculture, I'm going to stick it in Roxy. It's kind of the same amount I pick up, same pigment on the brush. and Modern Renaissance. Go into Buon Fresco. This palette for a year and I still can't say that. 1, 2. A little bit of kick up, same pigment on the brush. I don't know if that was helpful or not. If people hated Subculture, I would compare Prism's formula to Modern Renaissance, but on the, let's see, on the ingredient, on the ingredients list, it's the same, where on Modern Renaissance, mica is the first main ingredient. And on this one, we have talc. So talc, like Subculture, is the main ingredient. Forget about the whole backlash about the Subculture palette. Like I've said in my review for Subculture, I got a good one, or I don't have a problem with it. And I don't have a problem with Prism either. Same amount of kickback and fallout when you're putting it in the pan as Subculture and Modern Renaissance, as my Subculture. On the eyes, when I was using Prism, there was pretty much no fallout. So that's a good thing. But however, like the technique I did with Subculture, I only tapped my brush in once to use because, like, let's do a brighter color. Like, see, barely tapped in even twice, and it's just like, it's just so much pigment. I don't know, I really like this palette for right now. I love, like, the color scheme. I love these brights in here and the metallics, and I feel like you get a good array and versatility of looks that you can do. And as I've said in the past, if you have a problem like getting inspired by a palette like this, look at it as duos, like straight down or right next to each other, and also look at it as, you know, as quads. I've said this before. And that usually helps, like, inspire or help guide you through a look. So I'm going to put some swatches up of Prism and Subculture. Each swatch, I took my finger and I swiped my arm 2 to 3 times. I went very lightly in the pans, both for Prism and Subculture, and swatched it. I used micellar water to clean my fingers and used dry napkins so there wouldn't be any interference with micellar water and the formula of the shadows. I also, this is going to sound weird, but once I was done swatching, I did lightly blow on my arm to make sure there was no, like, standalone fallout from the shadow, so you could see the trueness of these swatches. No primer, skin to skin, so here are the swatches. Alright, so here we have Prism, Metallics, Holidays, and here we have Subculture, edgy, grunge type of shades, perfect for fall. So side by side, at first glance, you may see there are some shades that might look a little bit similar in the pan. I asked my sister, who isn't as into makeup as I am, and she said, yeah, they kind of look the same to me. I'm like, okay, interesting. So now I'm going to take some of the shades from Prism and compare to Subculture and some to Modern Renaissance. From Prism, that is described as a matte coral pink. And then we have Roxy, that's described as a muted coral. So both of those are corals, and I feel like once you get these on the eyes, blend them out, you're not going to be able to really tell the difference between the two. Unity from Prism, Dawn from Subculture. Dawn is described as an ultra matte sand, and Unity is described as an ultra matte nude ochre. Dawn is a lot more kind of darker. It's more of a nude, and this is more of like a yellow sand color, so there's a difference. Sphinx from Prism is described as a metallic bronze, and we have Adorn from Subculture, which is described described as a metallic bronze. Was that right? Okay, Sphinx is more of a metallic warm bronze. So we have Sphinx, and then we have Adorn. So Adorn, to me, looks a little more warm than Sphinx does. Yeah, even though Sphinx is described as warm bronze, Adorn looks more warm to me. But I feel like if you put these on your eyes, blend them out, you're not going to tell the difference. Sphere is described as an ultra matte, electric green, yellow, and Edge is, oops, come back, Edge is a mustard. I mean, you can already tell those are quite different because, yeah, that's completely different. I am surprised at just how, like, pigmented and amazing Sphere, I'm like, I can't say that word. Sphere is, neons and pastels, they're just hard. And then they, like, blend out to, like, nothing. So I'm really impressed with Sphere. Parallel. And that one. Okay. Yeah, put them on the eye, they're gonna look the same. They kind of look the same to me, like, in real life. Saturn from Prism, Saturn from Prism and Roxy from Subculture. Roxy is more peachy. Brown is like more of a metallic blue, green, purple in there, and Axis is just bam teal. Prism and everyone's favorite, Modern Renaissance. Parallel and Cypress Umber. So Cypress Umber is more of a grayy purple brown, and Parallel is brown, but you blend them on the lids, I think they're going to look really, really similar together. Blur and Buon Fresco. Buon Fresco, God, is more of like a muted gray purple, and Lure is ashy lilac, but I feel like if you like put these in the crease or something and blend, they're going to kind of look similar. Okay, we have Saturn and Relgar. Relgar is just a tad more deeper. Put them in the crease or the outer corner, blend them, they're going to look kind of identical. Overall, for Prism, I do really like this palette. Of course, there are just a few similar shades from here and in Modern Renaissance and Subculture, but I do not by any means think it's the same color story at all. Yes, there were some shades that if you are going to blend them on your eye, they're probably going to look the same. But that doesn't mean this palette has the same color story, because it certainly does not. This is more holiday, more bright and vibrant compared to the edgy Subculture. There you go, guys. I hope this was helpful. Give this a thumbs up if it was. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to love others, but first and foremost, always love yourself, because you're beautiful no matter what anyone else says.